Everybody, welcome to the Standing Stone podcast. This episode is a fun one. We get to talk a lot about some pheasant hunts, some dogs over the years, and a relationship that's been built between and around dogs. I'm with Lewie from the Browns Hunting Ranch, which we're actually at this year guiding, and I hope you enjoy this conversation. It's a fun one. We are here at Browns Hunting Ranch. You are the manager of Browns Hunting Ranch and have been for 2 years.
Going on 2 years. Second season, yes.
Awesome. I want to talk a little bit today. We're going to go into our history together, and then also I want to talk about Browns Ranch and how this process came about-ish and the goods and the things that you're trying to do here. And because I can tell you right off the bat, we just finished our first 2 groups, and it was way better than I could have anticipated. We saw more birds in the last 3 days than I think I have seen collectively in groups and things like in a very long time. I mean, there's something to be said about good bird numbers, and there's something to be said about ridiculous bird numbers. And we were more in the ridiculous category for a majority of what we said. So,
oh, that's a good thing.
Lewie, I just want to know. I want to know about you. That's it.
Where do you want to start?
Okay, let's start at the beginning. I think that's the best place to start, and that would be with dogs. How did we meet?
You and I met. It started going on 10 years ago. I was looking for a short hair.
Yeah.
Looked all over online, found your guys' website, seen a dog that I thought was a started dog for sale, and I messaged you, and there it was, but it wasn't a started dog for sale. I was looking for a black one, of course, because that's how I ended up with Cooper.
Absolutely.
You had given me a name of a lady that here in South Dakota that happened to be 30 minutes from where I was.
Yeah.
And that's how it all started. I ran down, put a deposit down, got the puppy. You guys got it for training. And 6 dogs later, here we are in 9 years.
And 9 years.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So even before him, this is Cooper. This is a Rooster Charlie puppy. This is going to test my knowledge on all
I
this
believe
here.
so.
Rooster Charlie. And Charlie was actually out of a Charlie puppy named, and his name is, he was an all black dog. It was Charlie Jazz. And for the life of me, what was his name? I don't know. It'll come to me in this conversation, but, and then out of Rooster. And we've talked about Rooster on the podcast, and we've talked about Rooster in some of the videos. He's probably one of the coolest dogs that I've ever had the opportunity to train and develop. He was machine-like steady, and he went through his masters in 7 tests, but the one that he didn't fail, he didn't do anything wrong. They told him he went birdless because he was on point, and we couldn't produce the bird, and we ran out of time in the event, and it just was like, and then there it went, and like, sorry, time's up. This is how this game works, right? So he did nothing wrong in all of the events, and just a very, very, very cool dog. So
very cool. Well, Cooper started it. It was a passion. He's a super dog for me.
Yeah,
and it just created my wanting more.
Now,
prior to that, we had Labradors.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And I had at one time 10 of them.
What made you want to switch?
The biggest thing was where I was.
Besides the obvious.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. The biggest thing is where I was hunting before.
Yeah.
There was a dozen guides.
Gotcha.
Everybody had labs.
Sure.
Every day in the field, you didn't know whose dog was whose. And it was time to change something unique that people that don't get to hunt or spend time around dogs got to see something different.
Yeah.
And I introduced short hairs to that.
That's awesome.
And they loved it. And obviously I do too, because it's an addiction now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you've hunted with both, there are excellent dogs. I don't want to downplay any of it. There are excellent retrievers. There are excellent cockers. There are excellent springers and pointers and all kinds of different breeds of pointing dogs. But there's something different about hunting with pointing dogs versus just flushing dogs. Now, I feel like for my dogs specifically that some of the labs that come out of the truck do a little better job hunting dead and staying tied into an area, and whether that's a nature nurture type of situation or they are just truly better at it, or they're just better at staying in an area, or I need to spend more time working on my dog's hunting dead something. And not to say they don't do a good job, but I feel like a lot of times if it's dig something out of the thick stuff, a lab does maybe just a little bit better job.
They're there. They're good at it. We still have labs around, and they're good for finding dead birds, but so are those short hairs.
Yeah.
They work hard.
They do, but they point birds.
They do.
And it's fun to watch them and
It
walk
is.
up with the level of anticipation of, all right, there's something in front of them, and
Gonna
see
be.
it all done. I've been very impressed watching your dogs. It's not something that it's not like I didn't have the expectation that they would do this well. We helped train them, and you obviously are a professional guide, but I don't get to see that side of it very often. I get to see non-professionals handling dogs or attempting to and trying to learn and work with that, and you do a really good job.
I appreciate that.
The
guys-
boys have been fun to watch.
They're fun to work with, and anytime a compliment is there, it's always good to hear.
Absolutely. So you had Cooper, and then we got Jax, I believe, was the next one.
Jax.
Wild man.
Yes. And then we ended up with Cajun.
Yes.
And then Ozzy.
Yep.
And now Doc.
And Doc. And I think Doc is Lilyvex.
Lilyvex.
And Cajun was a shooter to, I like challenging my brain, but I should have written this down because this has been a lot of years ago. Cajun was Addy shooter.
I don't remember.
And Jax was Lilyvex.
Yes.
And Ozzy is Quest Hatch.
Quest Hatch. Here you
Yeah,
go.
yeah. Very, very nice collection of dogs. Now, this is something that I want to touch on some of the things that we got to see in the last few days, dog related wise, and also hunting and bird related wise. But one of the things that I saw that I don't see very often is their insane ability to not pick up and drop birds with the level of excitement. A retriever game, they would call that a diversion bird. And that's where the dog is coming back with a retrieve. Another bird gets shot or another mark comes out. There's that diversion, distraction side of things, and they have to be able to return with that and then go pick the next one up.
Yep.
And it's a drill that needs to be incorporated and stuff, but your dogs are very, very good at it.
I worked very hard at it.
Yeah.
Because we were shooting a lot of birds. And in the beginning, when they were young, they were dropping birds. And then you'd have to go back and look and spend time hunting. And
they're not where you saw them.
And-
so now
yeah.
it's like, you're looking, where are we even
Right.
looking?
And then the dogs don't care.
Yeah.
I had it. It's your job now. I'm
Yes.
out of here for the next one. So that took a lot of work, but they're really good at it now. They hold it pretty well.
It's about that. Dogs running around.
Yeah.
Every dog had a bird in its mouth at the end of that one shelter belt that we
Yeah.
walked in. And then more birds are getting dropped, and they're running over to them and going, now what do? I got a bird in my mouth and a bird on the ground. And so it's pretty cool.
Doc will even bring me two every once in a while. If he can get them both in his mouth, he'll bring me two.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So why the dogs? You've been a guide for how long, and how did you get into that specifically?
You know what? I grew up hunting.
Okay.
And that was my passion. I didn't like school. I didn't like work. So I decided to make my passion my job. I started guiding right out of high school with a girlfriend's family hunting operation.
Yeah.
And it just escalated from there. And I ended up out here. If I didn't have the dogs, I probably wouldn't do it.
Sure.
Because that's all part of it. I mean, we can do our thing and talk our talk, but they're the ones that show you what it's all about.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So not to age you, but you've been guiding for how long?
This is 25 years out here.
Wow.
So professionally, 25 years. Prior to that, it was just weekends and on and off, and as a kid learning for probably another 5, 10.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So going into season number 2 with Brown's Hunting Ranch, talk to me a little bit about the program here, what you're trying to build. Obviously, you got a lot to start with, but what are some goals and
Well, I started with a semi-full plate. Our goal was to obviously make it in the red and make it fun and bring in clientele that want to come back,
yeah,
create relationships that they're not just clients, they're family.
yeah,
You know, when they walk in the door, you remember their name, you remember what they're drinking. Most of the time, you remember their dog's name because that's what you hear all the time. But, you know, that's kind of our goal, is just to get people here and keep them coming and let them enjoy what we have to offer, which is an insane amount of birds
yeah,
right now.
right now for sure. Um, we were talking about this earlier today. There's approximately 25,000.
Yep, I think the whole farm itself is just under 25,000 acres.
Wow. The cool part for me is the division in the available cover to hunt. You have East River and West River, and the East River side of things is more traditional to what I have hunted South Dakota pheasants. It's a lot of food plots and shelter belts and CRP, and it's more of a what I consider a very traditional style of South Dakota pheasant hunt. And the West River stuff is we were talking with the guys here. I was like, this stuff is rank. It's raw. It's wild.
It's Western.
Yes.
Very Western.
Yes.
And that's the neat thing about here is we get guys that come and think they're hunters.
Yeah.
And they want to go walk food plots and walking paths.
Yeah.
Well, we have that. And then we have guys that are just bad to the bone, want to run their dogs and do their thing and see the Wild West. And we have that. That's the best part. We have everything to offer.
And a mixed bag. We have seen, and not harvested all yet, but we have seen sharptail. And I think that bigger group, did you see them? We hunted the snake pit. The big group came off top of the hill of grouse.
Yes.
Were they chickens or were they sharptail?
I didn't see them that close.
I was just guessing based on the size because I think it was almost 40 that it was probably chickens.
Very well could be. There's
usually
lots of them over there.
Bigger groups that way.
They do. Yep.
But we've seen grouse, we've seen pheasants, a lot of them, and we've also seen Hungarian partridge. Now, it is on my list. We talked a little bit about this.
We did.
I have seen more Hungarian partridge in the last, in just one day than I have seen when we went to North Dakota, up Stanley area, which would be north, not quite northwest, but it's headed that direction pretty hard.
Okay.
And we hunted for 3 full days and didn't see a Hun, which there's a lot of them in that area, and that was just more due to me not knowing what I'm doing. But
right.
So I have seen more Huns now.
Well, but I told you that it's so hit and miss. Our Huns had been almost non-existent.
Yeah.
And now they're back. They're starting to come back. We
That's
got
awesome.
a covey here, a covey there. We had that single come ripping through yesterday like a fighter jet. Nobody even knew what it was until it was gone.
I heard you yelling. You're like, "It's a partridge! Shoot it!" Then you hear ba-boom, ba-boom, and like, too late now,
Too
boys.
far.
Yeah. But so having this level of diversity provides a really cool experience. You do have that walk lines and shelter belts and food plots, and you have the raw stuff, the wild stuff. It's very, very cool to have that mixture of both. I'm interested to know what kind of things that you guys are looking at, if anything, to continue to develop, or what are any plans in that direction?
There's no plan set in stone right now. We're at max capacity with lodging.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're getting bigger and bigger and bigger groups. We've got enough property. I took you to that new place that we leased.
Uh-huh.
And so that was a new addition. As far as developments, we're working on a few more food plots or a little bit more grass here, or some more habitat trees there. But nothing huge right now.
Yeah. It's one of the things that I see in the years that I have guided that, surprisingly enough, wild birds really tend to prefer wild cover. What is naturally there, as opposed to some of the things that we try and bring in or put. And it's like, why don't we just let the draw be the draw where the birds are always at, as
Right.
opposed to trying to reinvent that wheel.
Sure.
Now, for you, I want to play a little game with you because I saw a lot of cool things. Just in this first couple days of hunting, we had the opportunity to see a lot of birds, harvest a lot of birds, miss a lot of birds. And what's the number one thing that stood out for you from a dog story, something you saw, something cool?
In the last 2 days?
Yeah.
I think it's really cool to see the customers with their dogs, their young dogs, learning how to handle them.
Yeah.
And doing retrieves. And, I'm watching my veteran dog track a bird and right on his tail as a young pup doing the same thing. Yeah. To me, that's cool to watch.
We saw it today with, we had a little dog, Maddie, and a little dog, Smoke, on the ground. And that bird, and this is a big thing that I think gets overlooked, is giving those young dogs those opportunities to truly learn. I found the bird. I had a general idea. It got shot. It was down. It had pretty sure it looked dead. And I had a really good idea. Young dogs ran that direction. They came back. The blocker kind of got back in line. We're like, we'll go look for it. It's no problem. We get down there and I found it. Like, here it is. It's right where I thought it would be, within a couple feet anyhow. And I didn't run in there and grab it. I just backed up, gave them space, called the dogs into the area and let them hunt. And it was one of those things that you saw the inexperienced noses learning. They ran through there, and I saw this young Smoke specifically. He whips around and then starts moving up this way, and then he's gone. Like he caught a whiff of it, but didn't really know what to do with it. Sure. And then here comes Maddie, and she does basically the same thing, and they're both working. So whatever the scent trail was, or it coming through, or it maybe ran a little bit and then died, which is why it was close to where I thought. Whatever it was, they both hit it almost identical, but had the opportunity in that moment. I didn't again go, oh, well, I'll just pick it up and put it in my bag. Step back and call them back and said, all right, look again. Like, we know it's here. We can take a moment and we can give them that opportunity to learn, which is how they get better.
That's how they get better.
The guys specifically with it, Smoke's dad standing there, and he's like, oh, how did he miss that? I'm like, no, he's a puppy. He's an idiot. And the only way he gets better is if we give him these opportunities, and I love bringing those young dogs up just for that moment.
Yeah, it's so much fun to watch.
And granted, a string of experienced dogs is also very fun to hunt.
It is. It's a lot easier for sure.
Yes. Yes. So, for me, Lewie, I've been really impressed all the way around with the lodging, with the crew that you have here, with the lodge itself, main lodge here, which we're sitting in right now. It's a cool experience for anybody that's looking for a hunt to get set up. Do you guys have availability? Are you pretty booked?
We're pretty booked. It's getting tougher and tougher.
Problem.
It is a good problem, and it's good to have a list. If people want to come and they want to experience browns, I mean, we're doing this with you guys. We've been on the flush. We working with Ron and those guys with Ron Shera. We get tons and tons and tons of calls. Unfortunately, a lot of them we just say, I'm sorry, we're booked. We can put you on the list. You can come. Eventually down the road, our biggest issue probably is lodging.
Sure.
I mean, we've got a small camp. This place was built originally to be a private camp for 6 guys.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then it just grew and grew and grew. They added the bar, added different style rooms to add 18 beds. And that's a full house right now. Until we add more lodging, we can't house more people.
Got it. It's a good problem to have.
It is.
But still a problem.
It is still a problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand.
Yep.
Let's talk dogs. That's the biggest thing. We kind of listed them off, but I want to talk through the evolution of them and where they've come and how they've progressed. Starting with Cooper, he's the first one that you got. As a young dog, which was a while ago, what is your plan path as you're developing it? How do you start them? How do you get them rolling? What kind of goals do you provide?
A perfect world for me, because I'm busy in the summer fishing,
Yeah.
is to give them to you.
Okay. Yes.
You guys start them for me.
Yeah.
Get them ready to roll, and then I dump them into the field, and it's just bird, 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 repetition, killing, retrieving, hold the birds, point them, hold, whoa, all the fun stuff. I get to polish, I guess,
Yeah.
the way I want them to be. And so I've kind of got the best part of both worlds, because I got you to start them, and I have our Mecca to polish
to finish them.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Birds make a bird dog.
Absolutely.
So, what specific things with him did you run into from like an issue standpoint? What's an issue that you've come up with young dogs? Because this is these podcasts, a lot of people that watch your stuff are trying to train dogs themselves and learn, and you've done a lot of that.
The biggest thing for me, and we've talked through the years over different things, some of it was retrieving.
Yep.
Some of it was holding birds. Some of it was just being a crazy maniac and how to slow them down, how to stop them,
they get bird drunk,
to just get them to pay attention to things. And it's, I guess my best advice is just don't give up.
Yeah.
Keep going. You've got the good dog, and just, they'll fall into place. They'll mature and they'll fall into place.
I feel like every dog kind of has their, they're all individuals. They all have their pluses and minuses. What would you say his strongest feature is?
Cooper, to me, his strongest feature is his ability to just shift gears, downshift, and work really slow. He doesn't miss a bird. Awesome. He will not overrun birds. He just doesn't miss a bird. Part of it now is because he's 9.
Sure.
And it's too much work for him. But he was that way from the get-go. He was super slow hunting dog, and he was perfect to hunt with.
Yeah.
And then I went from that to a couple of madmen. They just ran like crazy. But that's how you learn. That's how you learn to handle them.
And even you talk about madmen, Jax specifically, Wildman Jax broke his leg. Being trying to load up in the truck with the tailgate down, didn't quite miss it and got caught in the bar, like the rock protection bar,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Just full of energy and full of don't quit, which is a fine line with the dogs aside of it. You need enough drive and oomph and desire and want to go out and do it without too much to where it crosses over that line.
Right.
And, ultimately he was too much bird dog probably for the type of hunting that is up here. Yeah. And now he lives in Louisiana and is a duck hunting machine, and is they love him to death. So
I actually got in touch with him on social media.
Oh yeah? I was trying to get him to come up here and hunt.
Oh, that'd have been cool.
Yeah.
We talked back and forth. I sent him all kinds of pictures when he was young.
Yeah.
And we still, not very often, but still every once in a while, just, how's the dogs doing? And
I think he's on the list next year. They're planning on trying to make it up here to pheasant hunt.
Very cool.
So that'd be sweet.
Yes.
I think, and he'll bring him with. And he's got a young dog trip now, so he'd be able to come up and
that's cool.
Make it happen.
That would be fun.
Now we've talked Cooper. What about Ozzy?
Ozzy is, he's our perfect dog. I mean, really, he's in the house. He's on the couch. His head is on your leg.
Yeah.
He, every time the girls come home, he's in their lap. He's just a Mr. I don't even know what you want to call him. He's such a good dog. He hunts really hard. He retrieves. If he had any weaknesses at all, it's probably his retrieving. And he's one of those passive aggressive dogs that if somebody else is beside him, you can have it.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with that.
Sure.
Because he'll still bring me 9 out of 10 birds.
Yeah, but won't be the one trying to rip one in half when
right.
you're not
Yeah,
looking.
you're not going to have any dog fights. You're not going to have any shredded birds at the end of the day.
Yeah.
He's just that dog.
That's awesome. I just remembered it in this moment. Mm-hmm. Cooper's mother's name was Oakley.
Oakley.
Not Charlie.
That's right.
And she was a Charlie Jazz puppy.
Okay.
So her dad that I was trying to think of that I already listed and thought there was some other dog mixed in it.
Sure.
Just clicked.
Sure.
Charlie Jazz, and that was Oakley, bred to rooster.
Yep. It was. and she was a solid black.
Yep.
There was 3 of them in that litter.
That's an interesting thing, the color side of things. We don't do the solid breeding stuff as much anymore. It's not my favorite thing personally to be completely solid. And we have some dogs that get really dark and are mostly solid, like Muddy looks almost completely solid black. But you have to have a solid dog in order to produce solid dogs,
Sure.
which doesn't 100% make sense. Like, how did we get to the solid dogs? But it's a trait that's there. And so we don't see those. But if you have a solid dog and there's black in there, you'll get solid black and solid liver and white and black and white. So they have the potential all to come out in that mix.
Sure.
But the last goober, Doc, is also doing a fantastic job.
Oh, he's a maniac.
And he is he's actually Lily Vex, and I think that was Vex's second to last litter, if I'd have to look before he passed a couple of years back. So
I'm not so sure it wasn't his last.
it was either his, I think it might have been close. It was right. We did 2 breedings. One was Lily, and the other one was to Quest. Okay. And I think they're right at the same.
It's real close.
Very, very close.
Yep.
But
Doc's he's a maniac. He's a stud. He is just on fire.
It's been fun to watch.
He's all about the game. He just wants to work and please. He's such a good boy.
I like it.
But he is a wild man.
There's a little bit of a trend there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of power.
Yeah.
We've talked about getting you on the list for the next dog upcoming because Cooper is getting a little bit older. What specific characteristics? We haven't had 100% chance to even talk about this.
We
so
haven't.
Do it now.
What are
the things that you would change? What's the things that you would prefer dog wise?
I would like to see. Obviously, I with Doc being black and white, Cooper being solid black, Ozzy being liver and white.
Yeah.
I would like to see another darker black one.
Sure.
Color wise, but I know that's obviously not what you want in a hunting dog. I would like to see it cross somewhere between Ozzy and Doc.
Okay.
With that drive, that retrieving drive, but yet the light switch dog, when you bring them in the house, they either go on their bed and lay down or they crawl on your lap and lay down.
Yeah.
And Doc's getting considerably better because he just turned 3, a week ago.
Yeah.
So he's getting a lot better, but he's still a wild man. But the cross between those two would be amazing.
I think, and you'll get the opportunity to in the next couple weeks or so. We're here another week and a half. Cassie is a young up and comer. She's coming on 2.5 range, and she's had her first litter, but she is a Hazel shooter puppy. And to kind of mix what is going on there, Hazel is a Grit Vex dog, and then Hazel bred to Shooter, which was one of our foundation males for years. Shooter was where Cajun was out of, and I think the true fire from that came from Addie, but she's just the mix of exactly what you're talking about, with super sweet to be around and love on and have, but at the same time, an extremely natural driven retriever, but has it more harnessed, which is the way that Shooter always was. Never caused any issues. He's always there. He's always in the right place. He's always doing the right thing. And he isn't burning fields up and whipping around, and you don't see him like it. There's those dogs that make you go, wow. And then you go, but that dog is too much to handle on average, right? Because they're just vibrating with intensity.
Right.
And he was the no BS dog. It's just always there, never needed to be handled, always did everything. Like, he is the one dog that I've finished. I finished his master in 6 attempts to get 6 passes. We went and did it in 2 weekends. You do a double. So he ran a Saturday, Sunday, pass. I was like, well, that was pretty sweet. We're going to a double, which means he gets 4 opportunities a weekend. And he went 1, 2, 3, 4, and we were done.
Wow.
Yeah. So it just always willing to do exactly what you're looking for.
Supernatural.
And supernatural.
Yeah.
And Cassie specifically reminds me a ton of Shooter's mother, which would be Callie. And that's what it's one of Uncle Rich, who's up here helping me. It's one of his first dogs, and we talked a lot about her in one of the previous podcasts. But Callie was a special dog, fell into that same category of just unbelievable dog in all of those pieces of easy to handle, but still had all the drive in the world to do all of the pieces without, pushing the envelope so much. So, Cassie may be an option to look at. I don't think time ice is going to work though. I don't think timeline's going to work because you're talking something on the list for something the winter time frame.
That is best for me.
Yeah.
Because then I have all winter to get through the puppy stuff.
Yep.
Get them somewhat matured and ready for you in the summer while I spend all summer in the boat.
You have close to a year-old dog
right
hitting that first season.
Yeah.
Get a little exposure and
Yep.
then really make it happen. So have all of the tools to train with as opposed to they run around figuring it out as they go.
Right.
That's awesome. So we just finished the first 2 groups, which I set up groups of 8. The next 2 groups come in tomorrow. And this is one of the pieces, like you mentioned, a very large number of ground, but we are going to be hunting all new property essentially and allowing pieces. Like we haven't hit everything in the first 3 days. It's essentially all new pieces of property that allow wild birds to rest. That's something that I think gets overlooked from a hunting standpoint.
Big time. It's obviously if the more it can sit, the more birds you have around. Just like yesterday's little finale that was midday instead of end of day. Mm-hmm. Nobody had been in that.
Okay.
And that's why.
And it's the first week in November.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's the nice thing about having the property that Browns have, that we have.
Yeah.
We can kind of keep people out of certain things. You know who's coming, getting to know your clients as they've been here a year. Now they're coming back for 2, what they want to hunt. Some don't want to hunt that stuff, which is perfect because it just gets left alone. Yeah. And some do. And then we go out and you see hundreds of birds like we did.
Absolutely. We get into that. It's a very cool setup. It's the tree row, so you have a little bit of a shelter belt type of scenario, and then you guys have got it set up this year with 2 food plots on either side. Like, how do you want to work this? I said, well, I've hunted trees before, and if you line up on one side, they fly to the other, and if you line up on the other, they fly to the other way, and you can't outguess them. So we got to get it set up, and then we put the 2 poor guys at the end blocking. And it was just wild.
I think they're trading guns for golf clubs now.
They, as we roll down through that, there was a specific time that a bird got shot and it came through the trees, basically high, cut out on this side. And here comes a dog, picks that one up. And it happens on occasion more than it's almost like the bird landed right on top of another bird somehow. He runs in there to get it. He grabs that one. A bird gets up. That one gets shot. Then here comes the next dog. And then there's 2 dogs running around, birds in their mouth. And then the next one gets shot. And then I had Mags on the ground at that point in time, one of our young dogs. She runs out and gets it. We've got 3 dogs that are trying to complete retrieves while more birds are getting up. There goes a hen. There goes another hen. There goes 10 or 15 off the wet stuff we really couldn't get into.
Right.
And then we get this all choked down into the end of that strip, and the birds are just boiling over top of the blockers. And they're going, boom, 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 reload, boom, boom. And then they try and take the shot. It might be on the edge of should shoot, and then one flies right over top while they're unloaded. And it was just, you get down there, and their eyes are just huge. They've never seen anything like that.
They'll talk about that forever.
Forever. Yeah. And I'm not picking on them. Didn't cut a feather, and they will talk about it forever. Or knocked one down or whatever it was. Right. Just that level of experience is something that I think gets, it isn't about the killing, but so many pieces can happen when you take these trips and you have the opportunity to put dogs in that situation and people in those situations, and it's just fun.
Yeah, it was a blast. I laughed and smiled the whole way through there. My face hurt from smiling at everybody just because they were rooster, rooster, and hen, hen. It was just crazy.
That's absolutely cool.
It was crazy. And you know how that whole piece came about was an absolute mistake.
Really?
The setup.
Oh,
with
yes,
the
yes,
trees,
yes.
the Milo. Milo had gotten planted there,
Uh-huh.
and it wasn't supposed to have been. It's all those acres, that whole field we drove through where the soft spots were,
Uh-huh.
that was all supposed to be not Milo. And they went in and sprayed it and killed it all. Luckily, they said, "Do you want us to leave some strips around?"
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Leave us some strips.
How does that much ground accidentally get planted to Milo?
Yeah, you know what? When you're farming that many acres and
yeah.
that many people, that many moving
You
parts,
got somebody just,
stuff
I hit the wrong
happens.
piece.
Yes,
Uh-oh.
absolutely.
That's awesome.
So luckily for us, it happened this year.
Yeah, it worked out really well.
Yeah, because with all that rain and the water, it probably would have made that spot over there just non-existent.
Yeah. Well, you have to write that one down and see if we can repeat
to
it.
Pay the guys to plant
Accidentally
around stuff.
plant some Milo out there again. Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I think for me personally, in the last couple days, maybe it's just the freshest, but today was wild and continually encouraging. We walked that first food plot, and there were so many hens.
There were
so many hens, and it's always funny because it seems like most creatures, I feel like things run together. There's like male packs and female packs, and then there's the mixture of them. But when you get into all the hens, you get into all the hens. And when you get into roosters, you go on straight runs, and there'll only be roosters in that mix too. And it's always funny. These guys will be like, "Oh, where are all the roosters?" I'm like, no, we just saw 70 hens come out of the end of this. That means that there'll be more birds. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's crazy. And in that whole area, Curtis, we bring up Curtis. That's his baby. He developed that. He planted it all. He planted the trees. He just takes care of it all year long. He does the mowing and the grooming, and that's his baby.
It looked like a Pheasants Forever magazine had just like vomited on it. It was everything that you could ask for. The grass, so you've got loafing areas, and you've got the food plots, and you've got the trees for shelter, and all of those pieces mixing together. It's like the epitome of exactly what you would want habitat-wise, which makes sense why there were so many birds there. But
we gotta have a reason to keep them there, and that habitat does. And one of the plans for the future is we're gonna start. Some of our water holes were dried up this year.
Sure.
If you don't have water, you don't have any wildlife at all.
Yeah.
And so now this spring we're digging lines and going to run well water to them to keep water fresh and full year round.
Now you're getting fancy, Lewie.
Yep, we are.
Now, have you considered, have you looked into anything as far as brood strips specifically go in conjunction with either the shelter belts or close to, like in between food plots and shelter belt runs?
We haven't really discussed it.
Okay.
Probably a good idea.
Well, the studies and the research and the information I found is when you do that, which the brood strip is essentially just disc it and leave it,
right?
Or can be a way to do it. And then all the weeds come up, right? And then you get the bug cycle. And if you're running water for some of those things, if you could irrigate those to produce a not very wide, but strip of just weeds.
Right.
Every 7 days, they need some level of moisture, not a lot, but some level of moisture to help that insect cycle. And I think 99% of what the chicks need is just bugs.
Sure. So that being said, like our last walk today when we did that corn, and then there's a combine strip beans in between it, and then corn. That's a little bit how we can keep taking ground from the farm.
Okay.
Is we're letting them plant in between and harvest that.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
it does make sense. It makes Reese happy, um, because we still have the cover, we still have the food, but
Yeah.
it's a little tough to start talking him into planting weeds. But
Yes.
yeah, I think it'd be a great idea.
What about even just running a disc through the one shelter that we walked through had a wider patch that was fairly open. You're just lightly disking that to allow some regrowth in weeds because it was fairly clean, and I think it looked like it was mostly brome had kind of taken over, which is part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of guys that I talk to are real mad at brome, and it doesn't fit the category because it chokes everything out and does everything. You know what? We find a lot of birds in brome.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I don't know, are they using it for loafing? What are they just like the way it feels on their feet? I don't know.
I don't know. I just think it's good cover, but yet it's thin enough that they can air
They can
out.
move,
They're not
and-
getting hot. They can move.
Yeah.
But yet they can still hide.
Yeah.
Hide from predators and the owls, the hawks, and everything else.
CRP specifically, I personally have not with you yet hunted a lot of CRP. We saw a little bit. I think the other group was hunting some CRP.
They were in some. We don't have a ton of it.
I've done.
That program, has just been so up and down.
Yeah.
So we have some that's from years prior, nothing new. But in the future, yeah, we'll probably add some more. It's just you get them huge tracks, and then it's hard to
Break
hunt
them
it.
up.
It's hard to
Yeah.
break it up. You can't break it up. You can only put a small percentage of it into a food plot to keep a bird there other than just having grass. So it's, I don't know. I know it's definitely a necessary, but as of right now, we don't have a bunch.
But is it?
I think so.
Okay. It's where I go back on the raw side of things. Like there's none when we were out west.
Right.
And there was an insane number of birds. And where do they live? They lived in weed patches and sloughs,
Right.
basically.
I just think back as from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You could drive around the section and see way more than your limit, shoot your limit.
Sure.
And back then there was CRP everywhere.
So let's talk about that then. Everybody has an opinion on this. What has changed over the years, or what do you think the biggest change is, or what do you think it's a silver bullet? Do you think it's a combination of things? What's your opinion on changes in numbers?
Oh, I think it's a combination of a ton of things. And I'll probably get hung for this, but some of it's farming practice.
Well, sure.
I mean, the grass is gone, the nesting habitat's gone, the price of corn is low, so they've got to get every ear, every
Absolutely.
bushel of corn they can get. So they're farming as much as they can. Another thing
we're not holding it against the farmers.
No,
They're trying to make a living.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
if we didn't have them, we wouldn't have
Any
this
of it. Yeah,
at
absolutely.
all. The chemical that's put down.
Sure.
I personally feel that, I mean, if you can kill the weeds or anything else you're spraying on it,
Yeah.
if you're getting that on eggs or chicks, it can't be healthy.
Well, even if it isn't really a health issue side of things, but what are we spraying? Weeds, or we're spraying pesticides. And when the true, like we're talking, there's a lot of birds, and it is great. There's no issues with it. But there was a time period where there was insane numbers of birds, right?
Crazy.
And what they had at that point in time was dirty fields because it was just the only way that it was possible. Didn't have application the way that we do now. We didn't have farming equipment that is as efficient as what we have now.
Right.
All of those pieces. And so absolutely, if we eliminate bugs, that is food. That is a food source. If we eliminate weeds, they attract the bugs, which becomes food source. So there's for sure that can be a part of it. What else have you seen?
I think part of it too is you'll see a drought year.
Yeah.
If we don't have water,
Yeah.
you're not gonna have birds. We'll have a great hatch.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it gets super dry,
It's gone.
or we have a nasty hailstorm come through, and they're gone. It'll wipe the whole area out.
Do you guys harvest the furrs? It's a bad word.
Yeah, the predators. The coyotes, there's a lot of coyotes around.
Sure.
And there always will be around here just because of this style of country.
Coyotes are wild.
It's crazy, and it seems like the more that you harvest or take out, they just seems like they reproduce more themselves.
Yeah. We have coyotes, and I've actually seen that. There was a study on this, and exactly what you're talking is a real thing that I believe, and fact check me, folks, but I believe was proven that coyotes actually produce more when populations decline.
I've heard that. I've never looked into it, but I've heard that. I know we've got some locals that in their off season have bought helicopters and they're hunting with the state helping them out and shooting thousands.
Goodness.
And every time you turn around, there's just 2 more. Wow. It's crazy. I don't know that they're as hard on our birds as we think they are.
Sure.
I think it's more of the winged predators.
Really?
The hawks, the owls, the eagles. Just for instance, down the river here a ways, a guy's got a big old breeding ground for grouse. There's always thousands of them.
Yeah.
And he said this year they had a picture with 55 bald eagles.
Whoa.
And they can't find a grouse. They lit in there, and they think that them eagles just absolutely decimated that whole population.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You don't ever hear bald eagles being much of hunters. They're more scavengers on average, but
we see them all the time.
Yeah.
They follow the goose migration down.
Okay.
They follow the ducks. We see them in the summer now sitting on the shores. I guess they are scavenging for fish because guys that are catching fish and throwing them back and they don't make it, the eagles are on it right now.
Yeah.
And it's really neat to watch, but boy, they can do some damage.
Absolutely. What about nest robbers, egg eaters? Is that really a thing?
Yeah, I think it is. And I had a gentleman tell me just the other day that turkeys are the hardest on pheasant eggs.
Interesting.
He said if you have a flock of turkeys, you won't have pheasants. And they will absolutely destroy their nest. But I haven't checked into that either.
Yeah. A lot of speculation. There's a lot of pieces there. And I think that the key to that is that it is related to a large number of things. I mean, it's not just one piece.
Nope.
I agree with you.
Definitely a mix.
We don't have the magic answer, but
nope.
I think that it is a number of things. You have a series of drought years, or you have a series of 2 wet years, or you have a weird hailstorm that comes through and kills a bunch of birds. Like
super bad winter.
Yeah. Any number of things can make some pretty drastic changes, but they also rebound pretty quick too when they have the optimal conditions.
Yep,
so
they can.
It's awesome. Well, Louie, I really appreciate your time. I've had an amazing first 3 days up here, and I just wanted the opportunity to rehash it a little bit and talk about the awesome operation that I'm up here getting to hunt with, and excited for the next few days.
It's fun. I've been looking forward to it all summer. So yeah, I can't wait to meet the new people and the new dogs, and hopefully everybody has just as much fun as we did the last couple of days.
Absolutely. We got people showing up tomorrow, so give us a little time to get things ready, and we'll go from there.
That's right.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, bud.